Welcome to the Ask Dr. Tommy O Show. The Ask Dr. Tommy O Show takes a holistic approach to our community's healthcare needs and concerns. Tonight's show, we have a special show, like I always say. It is called Cyberbullying, live at Public School 53. I want to get right into the show because there's just so much information to discuss, and I'd like to welcome Bishop Paquette. Bishop, welcome to the show.
Right. Well, I had a great time. It was really a wonderful experience to be able to see the young people there receiving this information. And not only that, the questions they asked. But we start off by thanking the New York Yankees, because we went to them and said, listen, this is what we want to do. Nobody's interested in doing it. This is something that must be done. Right. And they said, fine, we will be one of your sponsors. And I want to thank them for doing that. And the young people were able to get also the T-shirts. There's a cyberbullying T-shirt that's going to come up on the screen, and it's a great opportunity for you to get that T-shirt and wear it. That will signal the fact that we can do something about cyberbullying. Right. And it's yours.
All right. Well, right. Let's we'll back it up a little bit so you have an understanding what we're talking about, especially if you're new to the Ask Dr. Tommy O Show or Stay Alive with Church Alive.
Right.
Well, last year we started off with a cyberbullying. We noticed that there was issues in the community, and the bishop and I took a proactive approach and said we need to address this and developed a 5-part series. First, we started off with defining cyberbullying, and then we brought in specialists in each area because I felt that we need to address, not just define it, but have a full understanding from a different perspective. Right. We had such a positive response that we had people calling us and reaching out and saying, how could we get involved in their community and teach them? School. Right, right. And so the bishop and I, like I said, we always have a fellowship late at night where we discuss issues and how can we address them, because this is New York City and something happens every day, every week. There's something going on in the community that needs to be addressed. And usually, the bishop and I, we are ahead of the curve, meaning that we are doing things before mainstream media. So we took the initiative and said that let's bring this to someone that can help us, and you said that let's speak with the New York Yankees.
And then I had to speak with the school. I'm going to give Dr. Wolf at PS 53 right here at 168th Street and Findlay Avenue. He said, listen, this is great. I need this in my school, and I will make it available. And he cooperated with his teachers and the people who really felt the need to deal with an issue that people were just frowning at but doing nothing about it.
Exactly.
And so we had a wonderful program. You know, we could share it with them.
Well, we're going to share it together.
Right.
We do everything together. That's part of like you say, the God Squad of being the minister of spiritual healing and the minister of health, if you will, because a lot of people came over to me and said, we didn't know you were a minister also, and I said, well, no, I'm a doctor. I'm a physician. Right. So, but the God Squad.
Well, you know, God calls ministries and physicians for the needs of the people. So we got a twofold effort.
That's right. Touching lives physically and mentally and through the Spirit.
Right.
Yes, exactly. And that's what we define anointment. And this is how it extends from the book to the hand to the community. And this is what we've been given and blessed with the ability to do that.
Exactly.
But what we did was we met the needs of the community, where the principal reached out. He heard about this program, and he called you several times and saying, please, can you bring this program to our school? Right. So what I did was I decided to bring a panel together. Some of the panel members were the same. Unfortunately, Dr. Petros was not able to fly out from Iowa to be on the panel. But essentially, it was the same panel, but this time we brought on a legal expert, which we'll go over. But the panel was myself, your host, Dr. Tommy O, as well as Bishop Paquette.
Right.
So you had the God Squad there.
Right.
We also had Dwayne McLeese. He was on the show, and he's our information technologist specialist, and he addressed issues of how to protect, this was specifically for the parents, on how to protect their children by understanding the computer and how to set up the parental guidance, because you need to, you can set up a computer so you can limit the access to and from
Right.
websites and so forth. We also had the legal expert.
Right, we had attorney Kafani Nkrumah, and he's a community advocate, just a young man that's running for the Senate here in the Bronx, and he brought on the legal parts of it, and
right.
also not only the legal part from the government side, but also the protection that people need to have.
That's correct.
And that was great.
Well, before we get into it any further, there's something else besides that. You've known him from a young age.
Right.
He grew up with your son and in your community, so
Yeah.
you're also a father figure to him as well.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so there is more than just another community member. There is like family there.
Right. Yeah, and recently he joined the church, so he really completed the whole circle, both physically and spiritually.
That's right. That's
Kafani's
right.
a great young man.
That's right. See, it's important. You need to find someone who's a leader, a mentor, and then let him guide you, and you are his mentor, and you know, as a pastor, but also as a father figure.
Right.
And here he is now. He's a professional. He grew up in Harlem, and he's a lawyer. So you know, he was able to overcome the barriers and make a difference.
Right. Yeah.
And now he's giving back to the community. And this is what seeing a positive role model, and I'm gonna put this out there, being an African American, a black positive role model. And for all our viewers out there, this is your role model, the bishop as well as our lawyer.
Right.
No one talks about this. This is an individual you need to look at and say, okay, making a difference. He went to school, he got his education, his 4-year degree, he went on and got his legal degree. And this is what you should be looking for.
But you know, but I was excited about the children and the performance they put on.
Well, we had a lot, and we're going to go through. This is just going to be a highlight, you know, because we're just giving an introduction, so the rest of the show is going to highlight the event. But I want to put this out there that we were proactive, and this is the first time ever on cyberbullying here at Church Life Community Church at Public School 53, where we had the community have an open forum where they have a question and answer with the panel, and then you're going to see later on there's going to be a little segment where the community started to interact and answer questions that were given by themselves. So the community started to teach themselves. We talk about change. Right. Change is not going to happen by an individual. Change is going to happen within the community. You will see within this show that the community, we had well over 100 community members, and I had over 120 T-shirts made. And by the end of the night, because this was about 3.5-hour forum, it was a very long night that the T-shirts were gone. So, you know, coming and going. So we had well over 100 community members that were involved with this, but we had the community teaching each other, and you're going to see this.
Okay. Also, in the pours that we're taking, we're going to see a performance from the children.
Yes.
Right now, you know, because they were, and a father. Okay. And it's very interesting. Right. So we're going to take a break and let folks see that. Right.
So I'll just start off with a heading. You're going to see Dwayne McLeese and his daughters. They decided on spot right there to put on a skit, and it was several skits, and to give a visual aid on what cyberbullying is. I can educate you through the definitions, but here you will see the skit and with examples of what cyberbullying is. And at the very end of the segment, even the audience, the children got involved, and they were a part of it.
This scene is about another form of cyberbullying. Raven took a picture of Daddy on the toilet and sent it to the whole school. And this is how it goes. Freeze. The next day. The next day in school, Raven sent the picture. The next day school got around, and this is what everybody thought of him. Go. Freeze. What is wrong with this? Well, not why. Do you think bullying is right? Do you think bullying is right? Do you think bullying is worth somebody crying or feeling down about themselves? It's worth it.
But it was pretty exciting, wasn't it?
It was, you know. I was thinking about Dwayne and his experience
Yes.
of being put on the internet. You can tell him.
Exactly. He gave an example of being on the toilet and someone taking a picture and then putting it out on the internet. So this is an example of cyberbullying, where you're put in a situation, uncompromised position where a picture was taken and put out there. So that was just an example.
Good. Now they're watching that now. So
That's it.
This was great.
Exactly. Well, let's get right into the next segment. And the next segment you're going to see is the question and answer, where the audience was asking the panel specific questions, and we went down the line based on their expertise and answered these questions. So enjoy this.
Now, she mentioned if your child is hit, as she was saying, when is the point where he should hit back or where he should not hit back?
Well, I mean, if you have to defend yourself. So, I mean, if this child is beating up on your child, you have to defend yourself. So, don't just stand there, because what's going to happen is that same bully is going to do it again the next day and the next day and the next day, and it's an ongoing thing. Yes. You wanted to ask a question?
So, what do you say?
Come on down.
Travis?
Come on down.
Does that answer your question in any way? Does that make sense?
Well, he kind of answered it, because,
Yeah?
like you said, instead of arguing to run away, but running away is only going to make it bully keep coming at you, thinking you're so afraid of them that they're going to keep doing it and doing it. At what point do you stand up and say, look, I can't take it anymore? I'm just going to hit back. I mean, what are the consequences of hitting back?
Sometimes.
What would you say?
Sometimes.
What would you say to your son if that happened?
Okay, well, in case, there was a kid that kept hitting him in class, but I taught him that instead of fighting with him, to talk to the teacher. But he said he keeps telling the teacher somebody's hitting him, and the teacher just keeps ignoring him. So I said, how many times have he hit you? What have you done? He said, I haven't done anything. He thinks that the kid said that he's the teacher's pet, whatever that means. So I said, okay, talk to the teacher, because I had the parent come in and we talked. But that didn't solve anything, so he kept hitting him. So I said, at some point you're going to have to defend yourself, because he's going to keep hitting you and hitting you. I mean, at what point do I tell him, hit him back, because if you don't, he's going to keep hitting you. And then he might get suspended from school. I mean, what do you do about that?
I think that what we grew up with, not all of it is bad. And us telling our kids that they have the right to defend themselves, they do. Right. You have the right to